It was Halloween night, and we waited with really nervous anticipation. Was everything okay? Had something gone wrong? Suddenly the phone rang, making us both jump. It was our daughter Rachel calling from the hospital. I had Stella at 8:35, she exclaimed, sounding tired but happy. We had a granddaughter. What a special treat for our family. But in true Halloween style, there was also a trick because apparently Rachel had been pushing and pushing and pushing for hours and was completely exhausted and nothing was really happening. So the midwife was chatting to her. So she turned to the midwife and then suddenly projectile vomited all over her and out popped Stella. Now, despite her somewhat undignified start in life, Stella was a delightful baby, beautiful, half Asian, with this huge, plentiful head full of hair, flawless skin. She never got any spots or rashes like all the other babies. Rachel's turned out to be a natural mum. She's a bit overprotective, but then I suppose aren't all first time mums. But I do remember when we first had her, she wouldn't let us kiss Stella for the first few weeks. I mean, something about germs. Now, I did wonder if it was just me, but apparently she even prevented her mum from kissing her as she bent down to kiss Stella. I mean, honestly, what would go next? But there were lots of new rules that we had to get used to because child rearing had just changed a lot since it was my day. No kissing was literally just the start. I'd forgotten how to change a nappy. And of course, now that I lived over, not in England, in America, I had to start calling them diapers. And really, I would have been quite happy not to have relearned that particular skill. And when Stella was 6 months old and starting solid food for the first time, we had to make sure there was absolutely no lumps. I mean, Rachel was completely terrified of Stella choking. And I became obsessed, let me tell you, literally obsessed with watching baby reels on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, baby led weaning was all the rage. I was fascinated with just literally watching babies eat and would sit for hours as these various young, trendy TikTok mums showed the way. Babies apparently were now supposed to feed themselves with their hands, would you believe? And allowed to make any sort of mess they liked. I mean, who knew? When my kids were young, I wouldn't let them make any mess. I wouldn't barely even let them use a spoon until they'd mastered how to get food from the plate into their mouth. But now anything goes. I did check with Rachel beforehand, and as long as I did very, very pureed food, like such as mashed bananas, and she didn't have to watch because she was so anxious, I was allowed to go do what I liked. So I was off. And what an almighty mess we both made, Stella. Food just got everywhere. Yogurt, which was her absolute favourite, just went on her hands, her face, her hair, the high chair, the floor, you name it. It was bloody hilarious. I just ended up doing videos the whole time and sending them off to Rachel. Now, she did respond with a laughing emoji, but I do actually think she was a bit horrified. It would sometimes take me 15 minutes to clear up afterwards, and once we even had to give her a bath. Then I progressed from pureed food to things like scrambled eggs with cheese and banana pancakes, mashed potatoes. Stella loved everything. It was very rewarding, let me tell you. I did also try on one of my homemade sausage rolls, and she was a fan of those, even with only two teeth. Spaghetti bolognese was also a huge hit, but that was made really did make quite a mess. Now, my favourite part about the food thing is that I've taught her to show me when she's finished. I just say, "Are you all done?" And she puts both her hands like this, tilts her head to one side, and just does that face. Oh my God, it's so sweet. I sometimes just ask her this question randomly while she's in the sitting room, just so I can see her do that. Now, the other thing about Stella is she's got a really good sense of humour. Well, thank God, eh? We can always make her laugh, my husband and I, even when she's really tired and grumpy. And now we like to teach her new tricks, a bit like she's a puppy, so that we can show Rachel. And as some of you know, my husband has got quite a strange sense of humour, and he's been teaching Stella all sorts of funny things, such as blowing raspberries every time she sees this toy carrot, and and then pretending that this rattle is a moustache. I mean, why would he do that? And then she opens her, closes her mouth like she's catching flies just to show that she's a fish. God knows what will happen when she starts school. I mean, all the other kids are going to think she's bonkers. Now, as doting parents, we've obviously spent a small bloody fortune on toys for her, but actually, the one she likes the best are these $5 stacking cups. It's really kind of, it's good, but it's also kind of irritating. Now, what we've learned is, why does every single piece of child equipment need you to have a master's degree in engineering? I mean, really, honestly, the time it takes to work out how to put up a simple travel cot or, um, fit the car seat, which is quite important, you could probably actually study for a degree in engineering. We put up a playpen in the garden in the summer, and it took so long that we just couldn't be asked to take it down. So we just left it up there. Now, we are quite careful not to overstep the mark with Rachel, even though it's really tempting. Stella's hair's got really long, for example, and all I want to do is just grab it and cut it off. But when I asked Rachel about it, she said she wants to grow it so that Stella can tuck it behind her ears. I mean, Stella's not going to do that, is she? Anyway, so she either looks really adorable with like a ponytail sticking straight up, like Bam Bam from Flintstones, or she looks like the greasy looking long haired bass player in a heavy metal band. So, apart from all the really fun stuff that we do, there are a few downsides. Stella crawls around the house like a mad thing. So, we've had to move all our really nice ornaments off, up onto high shelves, plus the cat food, plus the cat water, plus we have to keep sweeping the sodding house every 5 minutes. But the worst bit, let me tell you, the worst bit when you get to a woman of a certain age is getting up and down off the bloody floor. I mean, honestly, I feel really old. I didn't realise that getting off the floor was a superpower belonging only to the very young. I've now had to start watching bloody reels on how to do this properly. By the end of the day of looking after Stella, my husband and I are a little bit exhausted and we just collapse because babies are definitely for the young. Now, despite all this hard work and mess and all the rest of it, Stella is an utter joy. She just forces us to be in the moment. I don't even think about work when she's around. Just what brightly coloured toy is she going to play with next? Which dreadful musical instrument playing all this distorted nursery rhymes is she heading for? But then she throws her hands in the air and starts dancing, and it just fills my soul. There's just something really special and magical about this relationship between a grandparent and a child. I think the age and experience that we've got can count for so much. I can, believe it or not, I can actually be quite calm and rational when Stella's a bit grumpy. And I've got this almost telepathic understanding of when she's hungry or when she just needs a nap. But the most important thing of all is I could just hand her back at the end of the day, sit down with a large glass of wine. Ooh, there it is, because we're all done. Thank you.